Okay.
We gave Bran like the hardest thing to
Heart
know.
surgeon, you are not.
Let's not.
We are just selling real estate,
It's
so we're
literally
good.
the easiest one.
I know. But I appreciate that Sam was like, oh, it's the hardest one.
Maybe don't eat
It's
so good.
clients, but yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, why did you decide to become a realtor?
Ooh, good question. Sam, you're the most recent.
Oh.
Start us off.
Oh man. I would say, I think real estate gives you the most impact that you can see, like immediately. Because when they get their house, it's just like watching Guerrero Street, and one of the partners is this like partner at a law firm. You know, he's a little bit more practical.
The client,
The client,
the buyer.
the buyer, and then his partner is like a product designer and loves the art, and just watching him walk around in love with the home when his like lawyer partner was like, you know, I don't know if we're gonna get this home, like, you know, this is a little bit of a stretch for our budget. And his partner, like, in one ear out the other, he's like, I love it so much. And like, it was just the cutest thing. And it was like, when we got the home, it was just watching him being like, I'm home, was just like the moment that I was like, okay, this profession is amazing. So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bran?
Very similarly, I think, so I'll keep it short, I promise. But when I was born, no. So I studied math in college, so I'm very much like a data-driven, numbers-driven, and my background is in analytics, and then I became a product manager, and so like I've always been pretty far from the customer. I didn't know who my customer was. I was also a consultant, and so like just didn't have a tangible connection to the end results or the end individual that I was hoping to help. And prior to real estate, I was at a fintech startup, and it was a very mission-driven company to help America resolve credit card debt. And so I felt, you know, that's the reason I joined the company, because it's very mission-driven, and like I really wanted to help the American individual to elevate their lives. Yet it was like still not close enough. And like the best part of that job was getting on the phone and calling customers to ask them, so as a product manager, what can we do to make improvements to the product? And I loved that, but I didn't want to be a customer support person. And so I just knew that like I really wanted to have more of a tangible one-on-one connection with the client, with the customer. And so, you know, I thought about wedding planning, being a financial analyst, but real estate, it's like, as you mentioned, it's like you really get to interact with the customer in so many different parts of their journey. So not just, you know, in the journey of helping them buy the home, but also hopefully as they transition their family and then help them to sell their home. And so like you really get to know the client, you really get to know them and the relationships that you're able to build, and being part of such a momentous part of their lives and generationally their family's life too. I think that's so unique to real estate, and that's what drew me to it.
I think I could not be more opposite.
You hate people.
I was exempt from taking math in high school.
Wait, what? How does that happen?
What?
It's not like PE.
I took extra, so I have learning differences that make numbers very different, very difficult for me. So similar to dyslexia. So numbers and data like that, it gives me hives. I know that it is a necessary part of life, adulthood, sales, but I I truly bring in experts a lot of the time to help me with those things. But for me, it was actually pretty simple. I love sales so much. I have always loved sales. I fell in love with it. True story. First grade, when I was a Girl Scout selling Girl Scout cookies. I have always been super competitive.
You're still doing that.
And now I'm helping my daughter sell Girl Scout cookies. But like when I could set my own goals, I could see how I was performing. I loved the thrill of the deal. I loved the upsell. Like,
wow.
As a little kid, I thought it was so fun. And I have never had a job that was not sales-based, with the exception of babysitting.
Which is also sales.
Which is still kind of sales-based. The other thing I love is people. Like, almost to a problem. Like, I would always get in trouble in class for talking too much. Actually, my very first job out of college in biotech sales, even though I was the #1 producer on the sales team, I would get in trouble for talking to my coworkers, leaving my desk to talk to my coworkers. So real estate just seemed like this amazing, perfect fit. And I also had seen modeling from my mother. So she was not a real estate agent, but she did real estate investing. And I could see how somebody could have a really impactful income, also be a parent, also, you know, have an unusual schedule that like worked for her. And so it was one of those things that I thought like maybe one day I'll do. But yeah, after that first biotech sales job where I was like in a cubicle on a phone, I was like, I need something else. And real estate really just does it for me. There's nothing better, like Sam says, when you see somebody in love with their home or helping somebody who's literally saved their entire life or made so many sacrifices to get into a property. Man, you get to do the fun sales thing, but you're really improving people's lives, helping people in the most pivotal, transitional parts of their lives. And that really fills my bucket.
Wait, Vanessa, I have a follow-up question.
Yes.
Did you upsell us all on the Girl Scout cookies?
Oh my god!
Wait a minute.
I might have mentioned that I used to buy a case and just freeze them so that there would be no judgment on how many cookies were ordered.
That actually, whoa, oh my gosh, that totally influenced me the most.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
We're gonna get hate in his phone.
I am a Jedi of the upsell.
Oh my gosh. Also, you know what I just realized is that at the end, after we clear all this, we should do a Girl Scout tasting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, but for me, what was the question? Why did I decide to become? Why did I
Go into real estate.
decide? What? Let me see. Why did I just become a realtor? Why did I become a realtor? Well, I didn't know what else to do with my whole life.
Very common.
A very common through
Why
line.
did
I didn't know what to do.
How old were you?
I was 20. I was in my mid-20s. Mid-20s?
2015.
2015. So whenever, I don't know how old I was at 2015.
You're like checking your
I know,
skin.
I was like, okay, well I'm now 36, so when this was tighter and how old was I?
Eye cream.
But I was in,
Fantastic skin.
Agreed. Agreed.
I was in my late 20s and I had just come off of a nonprofit job. And what I really, for me, I similarly wanted to have an impact on people's lives. And what I didn't know was, even though I didn't really know much about it, real estate at all, and I didn't really even connect the dots of how impactful real estate can be to someone's individual life. And so once I started doing real estate, which was again on a whim, I literally took the test, passed it, and then I was like, I I guess I have to be a realtor now. And it wasn't until I started working with clients that I was like, oh, this is an incredibly connective, noble profession where you impact people's lives in such a major way. And on top of all of that, what I didn't realize was at the time, my dad had been in real estate for over 40 years at that point. He was part of a generation of San Francisco realtors that helped a lot of Chinese Americans purchase their first pieces of property ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Break cycles of poverty, begin building wealth, all of those things. And so it wasn't until I made those connections that I was like, real estate touches everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It touches every single person that lives in the United States. And so when I think about the kind of impact that realtors can have on a community, not only their neighborhoods, it's immense. It's really, really powerful. And also because I'm someone who is sort of social justice minded, I began to piece together that it's a direct application and expression of my social justice values to be in real estate. Because there are people who do not practice real estate or there's people who practice real estate who do not have a social justice lens and who do not come to this work thinking about equity or thinking about how different people may not have access to opportunities that other people can. So being able to make all those things connections, I was like, oh, this is why I do it.
Yeah.
This is why.